Is that helpful or unhelpful?
Yeah, no. That's helpful because I've not surfed with either of you, so
you haven't had the pleasure.
Do you know what? I haven't had the pleasure, and it's strange. I haven't had an invite either, which is a little bit hurtful.
Well, we would invite if we ever get the bloody go.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the UK Surf Show. We are your hosts. I'm Pete.
And I'm Leighton. On this episode, we speak to Dom from Origin Surf Co. This is our consultation with Dom for our boards. So excited.
Yes, part 2 of the series of podcasts. The first one was the anatomy of the surfboard.
Yep.
And this one we're going to go through the consultation. It was really interesting. I've changed my mind a lot since I spoke to him originally on this consultation that we recorded.
Dom's
we recorded this ages ago.
For that.
Yeah, changed my mind quite a bit on a few different things. I've tried different boards out since then, and
the aim of this podcast, or this episode, should I say, is for people thinking about going to get a custom board, but maybe a little bit apprehensive. This will give you an idea of what the consultation process is like. And Dom was great. Yeah. And like we don't know much about the surfboards at all, do we? And he really kind of walked us through it.
Yeah, we really didn't have a clue of what we wanted or what we wanted to get out of a board or how the shape of the board would affect of way we're just not that knowledgeable about it. We've just always
just in general.
We just know nothing about anything.
So the next episode, which is also going to be the next episode with Dom, is another special episode with Origin Surf Co. And it will be us receiving our boards, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm so excited.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna speak to him and see if we can do video for that as well, so we can.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. That'd be great.
So we'll put that on YouTube of us actually seeing our boards for the first time
and watching us skipping and dancing around,
smile or cry.
We're not going to cry, are we? They're going to be works of art. So other stuff.
Before we go into this episode, don't forget our January Blues competition is still running. You've got about 6 or 7 days left. It ends on the 31st of January 2021, and we want you to
send your kookiest photos. We've had some great entries already.
We've had some brilliant entries
some
already.
Really good ones, and I can't wait just to show them all to everybody. Like we said, we're going to do in a slideshow at the end of the show, at the end of the competition, sorry. But some of the ones we've got have just really been making us proper belly laugh. Yeah, they've been brilliant. Yeah. So keep them coming. They're really good. We're going to post some of our own, just to show people.
They'll be on the Instagram, so have a look there, and there'll be
all the photos of us are kooky photos. On Instagram.
I found some old ones the other day. Some of the ones which Spoons took years ago when we went surfing, and I gave him my camera, and he took a lot of out of focus photos. But
worried.
Yeah, he's got some. We've got some proper kooky ones, so we'll share them with us as well.
Yeah.
And also we've got a new North Core discount code for you.
Yes. So if you can't use the old one now, so to keep up with our discount codes, you have to keep listening.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. No, our new code is SSUK15. And that'll get you 15% off at North Core. They're really happy with the amount of people that used the code Leander last year.
Yeah, so thank you very much for that, everybody using the code. Yeah. And hope you got everything you want. If not, get back on it.
We're really happy. They want to carry on supporting us, and we'll carry on supporting them and sending people their way because they do so many accessories. I just find them really useful for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. So
we'll jump into this episode speaking to Dom from Origin Surf Co. about our boards. Yay!
Yeah, so don't forget, before we jump into the episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on your podcast provider, and give us a follow on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you want to do. So here we go.
New surfboards.
So this is part 2, and this will be a consultation, so you can see what happens. Well, I was going to say from a normal shaper, but looking across the room, that's difficult to say. From a shaper, but, what they'll do as you go through a consultation, and you talk about what you want from a surfboard.
Yeah, so this was going to help people that might have that kind of might be a little bit tentative going to a shaper. This is what to expect, which is a good thing for them to hear. And I'm just like, it's like Christmas for me. I'm just like, I really want to do that, really Christmassy giggle that you used to do as a kid. I want to do that.
What's that?
I'm not going to do it because you're going to make me look like a twat if I do that.
That would be the intro every single time.
Yeah.
That'd just be him going.
But I'm excited.
Personally, I'd like to hear it.
You can't put me on the spotlight.
I think you should. We don't know.
Hang on. This is just all bit.
That has to go on the intro.
That's going to go.
amazing.
Yeah, all the time.
And now I look like a twat.
You didn't even have to try that hard. So yeah, it's consultation. So
Yeah.
I think we once again just hand straight over to you,
Okay.
and you can tell us how you do it.
Okay. So I don't often, I've never done kind of a group consultation, so this will be something new for all of us.
Yes.
But basically, the way I approach it is I ask lots of questions. I want to know about each of you, some really practical stuff like your height and weight.
Say
and all that
personal
sort of
stuff.
Yeah. And then I want to know personal stuff.
Yeah, that's all right. I share it all.
Nothing to
Don't
do
worry.
with the board, just for a laugh.
Yeah, I'm just interested.
Yeah.
So I just ask lots of questions really, and then we can start talking about what we might make for you.
Cool.
But, I don't know. Should we kind of do it?
I don't know if you wanted to go each area and we'll answer from our own perspective.
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling our
We're
boards are going to
quite
be very
similar.
similar. Because we're like the same height. Pete's a little bit heavier than me.
Okay.
What a prick.
That's getting you back for the giggle thing.
Yeah.
And we both like longboards. We both like surfing at Saunton and trying to get the longest ride as soon as possible.
Okay.
I think if he had a mirrored top, because he's quite narcissistic, so that would be quite good for him as well.
Oh, Jesus.
Amazing.
You wouldn't have thought that he hasn't seen me for a long time because of lockdown, would you? He's still as vicious as always.
I think more so. I think he's making up for lost time.
Yeah, that might be it.
Yeah.
There's so many things I could have said, but I'm holding it all in.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, wait for it. It's coming. It's coming.
The drive home is going to be a doozy, isn't it? All right. So let's start with some of your specs. Mm-hmm. So I'll grab height and weight of both of you, please.
Okay, you go first.
I don't know what over that is.
You don't know what your
I know.
height is.
I think 6'1" height.
6'1", yeah.
I don't know what my weight is. I don't know.
I got some scales.
Literally.
Would that help?
Good God, no.
You're going to have to.
I think I'm around about 15 stone.
Okay.
15 and a half. 16 and a half. No, 15 and a half.
15 to
Between
15 and a
there,
half.
yeah, around there.
Okay. And as an Australian, I need to ask, how many pebbles to a stone?
What?
How many pebbles to a stone? I reckon it's about 3.
So, three pebbles to a stone.
Yeah.
Okay. How many kilos to a pebble? No. I'll convert that back. That's fine. I don't work in stone, but I can.
Are you working in
convert
kilos?
that. Kilos or pounds, but that's fine. That's fine. And what's your shoe size?
11.
Does that make a difference, the shoe size?
It's good to know. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want my height, weight, and...
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
Weight is 14.6, which is 14 and a half stone. I don't know what it is in pebbles.
Mine in pounds is 210 pounds.
210.
And what are you? 14, did you say?
Yeah, so we're just under £200. So I think there's £200 15 stone.
No, £210 is 15.
Right.
14 stone is £196. Did you say 14 or 14 and a half?
14.6, so 14 and a half, yeah.
£204, 0.4.
£204. Cool.
Cool. And same shoe size, 11.
Okay, 11. Awesome. All right. So it's probably useful.
No.
Sorry?
Not getting these out as well? Or
Well, no.
no, don't want to measure them as well?
No.
Put
need
trousers
to-
back on, Pete. It's not that kind of group meeting.
Please put your pants back on. Okay, so it would be useful for me to get a feel for what you're currently riding or what you have ridden in the past.
Right, I've got a 7.6 torque board,
Yeah.
which I get on all right with on that. It's different. Like I much prefer riding the longboard though. I've got a 9.6 longboard. Don't know what the make is. I cannot remember off the top of my head. It's very heavy though, which I don't like.
Okay.
It's very thick, isn't it?
Very
and
thick.
It's quite
very
wide
heavy,
as well.
Quite wide. I like the wide factor of it. I don't like the heavy factor of it. It's ridiculously heavy for. It's like a tree.
Do you know what it's made from?
Yours is a shaped board, isn't it, with fiberglass?
Okay.
I think so. Yeah, but it's like. It's really heavy.
Yeah.
Like I said to Nate, like from mine to his, you pick them up, you can really feel the difference, can't you, when you pick them up?
Yeah.
And but it feels more.
It looks very.
It feels very hard, doesn't it? As
yeah.
well? Like the surface of it feels very hard, but I couldn't tell you what it's made out of
Okay.
because literally someone gave it to me,
Okay.
and that's where I got the board from. So I did
Amazing.
nothing about it.
It's a very, very solid chunk of a board, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's it looks quite. It's quite an old-looking shape, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe that's because of how thick it is.
Quite a rounded, like quite a big arced rounded nose, and
Do you have any pictures?
no, but I can send you one. I don't think I do have any pictures of it.
That's cool. Send me one through. That will be useful.
Yeah, but somewhere in between that sort of thing, like the 7.6, I said I do get on with. I can surf that. I can't surf it as well as I surf the longboard. I surf the longboard a lot better, and I really prefer longboarding.
So with the 7.6,
Yeah.
What is it that you like about it?
The manoeuvrability of it, I think. The fact that it reacts quite... I like that and I don't like that. I like the manoeuvrability of it, but I like the more stable feeling of a longboard.
Okay.
So that's definitely where I want to go is longboard, but...
But that's a bit of a double-edged sword then with the manoeuvrability on the torque.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like that you can turn it, but you would like it to feel more stable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's I found them quite a nice, simple board. Really, it's you can use it. You can. It's quite easy, quite manoeuvrable, and that side of it's quite nice. But I just prefer longboard.
I think you struggle more on your torque board to catch the amount of waves.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely struggle on that. On the torque board, I don't catch anywhere near as many waves as I do on a longboard.
Okay. And so on the longboard, I guess the thing you like the least about it is the weight. That's an issue.
Yeah, the weight is a massive issue.
Yeah.
I've seen the type of boards I like the look of, but as we've discussed before, is that going to be what I like the look of might not actually be what I actually want. Do you know what I mean?
Or what you need,
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, what is it that you've seen?
I like sort of about 9.6 sort of size.
Yeah.
And nose that sticks up quite a bit, like concave.
Or do you mean like has a rocker?
Yeah, the
So
rocker.
it's got a
the
bit of
rocker
nose
on
rocker?
yeah, a bit of nose rocker on it.
Okay.
Tail, I'm not that fussed about. It depends, as we go through this, how I want to ride.
that
like
might
I
help
said
the
before.
manoeuvrability, though.
Yeah. So whatever you think will be best on that. And I love nose riding. I absolutely love nose riding.
Okay.
So that's where I'm going on that.
Okay. So yeah, that's really useful. Sort of hearing your thoughts on that. So one thing I would say with boards that nose ride really, really well, They typically don't have a heap of rocker
Yeah.
on the bottom side of the board.
Yeah.
And I would personally not recommend having a super thick nose either.
Yeah.
It depends on the outline you go for.
Yeah.
We should probably actually put a pin in that for a second.
Okay.
Because I have some thoughts for you. But
That's exactly why I want to
yeah.
speak to you about it.
Yeah, sure.
Because,
sure.
like I said, what I think I like the look of may not be practical for what I actually want to do at all.
Yeah, 100%. I understand. Okay, cool. And what about you, Leighton? What are you riding?
I'm riding one of the cheap Cortez boards, which is not a fiberglass board. It's like a preformed thing. I don't really know what it is I like or dislike about it, to be honest.
How big is that?
That's 9.2.
9.2, right.
Yeah. I can ride the thing, no problem at all. It's fine. Seems to turn okay. Doesn't nose ride.
Okay.
It's quite flat, isn't it? I think I noticed when I get off I've had a go on yours and you've
there's no
I think it's very flat board he's got.
There's no concave on the bottom
Okay.
or anything like that. It does have the terrible cheap black fins on it.
Okay.
And the thing is just ding to hell now. What I have seen in the water, which I really like, when you said about having that kind of the nose where it has like the really thin foil on the on the nose, and it looks like a very spoon kind of shape.
Okay.
That looks like something I feel like I would get on with.
Sure.
When just from seeing other people riding them and the type of people riding them as well, due to like size and stuff like that, how they pop up and how they're riding it feels like something I could do.
Right. Okay.
And I've sent you a few photos
sure.
of something similar. So yeah, that and like is it same as Pete really? We're going to be longboarding in Swanton, and trying to nose ride. So it's just a very cruisy kind of board.
Yeah, sure.
But I suppose to help with progression, you also want it to be able to turn quite well as well. So would that then be the tail tapered in?
So there's a couple of approaches you could have to achieve that, because that is kind of the holy grail really with longboard design, and particularly like traditional logs, having something that nose rides well, but still turns is tricky.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a couple of different ways that you can go about achieving that. So broadly speaking, there's a couple of different approaches to making boards that are really good at nose riding. One is really common, which is a board that has a really wide nose, moderate to low rocker, that will basically there's a large planing area there. So as you step further forward, there's still a decent amount of board under your feet that will allow you to keep planing along the wave. And then pulling the tail in makes it easier to turn. That's one school of thought. The other school of thought is the exact opposite to that, which so they're commonly called pigs. They're not massively common here. I haven't seen loads of pigs around, but they literally work in the opposite way.
Okay.
So a pig will typically have a relatively narrow nose, not narrow like a shortboard narrow, but like relatively pulled in a bit.
Is that the ones when they kind of go to like a little bit of a point?
They sometimes go to a point, but sometimes really wide nose longboards go to a point as well.
Right.
I'm sort of talking more further back in the board, like a foot back. That width there is really the measurement we're talking about. So yeah, that's kind of pulled in slightly. The wide point of the board is back from the center.
Yeah, I think I have seen them actually. They're called pigs. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then the tail's quite wide. So there's pros and cons with both. For nose riding, pigs are amazing.
Right.
And the reason they are is that as you step forward, you are basically sinking the board that's behind you, the section of the board behind you, further deeper into the wave. And once you get about 2/3 of the way up the board, there's 6 foot of surfboard under the water behind you.
Right, yeah,
and
holding you up.
And it counterlevers.
Right, yeah.
Right. The obvious downside is that there's quite a wide tail on that, which can make it difficult to turn. The way you get around that is you give it quite a lot of rocker in the tail.
Okay.
And you kind of contour the bottom of the board in such a way that it transitions easier. And if you, because it's hard to explain, you kind of create these hips in the tail as well, so that when you're stood there, you have that pivot point to turn off. So they're actually really easy to turn.
Yep.
But you just need to be stood at the tail.
Does that make, when you see the tail, when it comes down, it's coming down like a pin, and then it's just like all of a sudden it's coming down like it's going to be a pintail, and it's just going,
yeah,
and just cut that
chop
last
tails.
bit straight off.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the board I showed you when you were at the workshop, that's a pig.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Does a pig board, is it more difficult to catch a wave earlier on a pig board?
No, I actually think they take off a little bit earlier than kind of Californian nose riders. The pros and cons. So the Californian style nose rider, wide nose, skinny tail. I'd say they're a bit more forgiving in a way.
Yep.
So you can walk them, nose to tail, turn, all that stuff. But you can also surf them quite comfortably from the middle.
Yep.
So it's something you could kind of progress with. Pigs are less forgiving like that. If you try and turn it from the nose, it just won't do it. You have to be back on the tail.
Yeah.
And if you ride it from the tail, it won't engage properly, so you'll lose speed.
So you'll be up and down the board.
You have to be up and down.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
It kind of dictates that, which is, one of the real joys of riding that type of board is that you have to walk them.
That's why it's called a pig, because it's a pig to ride.
I'm not sure where the name came from. There's a guy called Velzy in California who was credited as the first guy who made them in the 60s, and he was a bit of a loose cannon, old Velzy, apparently, and someone. Well, there's a bit of an urban myth, really, that he was off his head and built a board backwards. And it worked.
But it surfed like a pig.
So I think like the style that I would go is the more forgiving one. I think the California style, wide nose, skinny tail.
Yeah.
Are you the same, aren't you, roughly?
Probably. I don't know. I think... I don't know if it'd be worth the fact that how I think I surf to how he's seen me surf and vice versa. Yeah, if that's worth exploring, because do you know what I mean? Like, it's to how I think nobody actually surfs how they think they surf.
Sure.
And I mean, I know. Well, when Leighton surfs, for example, he's very much along the wave, up and down along the wave as he's coming in like that. So he surfs a lot like that. I think I surf, I don't know, I might be completely wrong by this, I'm more of a like drop in, big bottom turn. Like carve around the bottom turn and then try and get back into it that way. I think we surf, although we like to surf the same sort of thing in the same sort of waves, we surf very different in those two sort of waves. I think you very much, you're up and already sort of turning at that angle, moving across the face of the wave.
Whereas as soon as I'm off.
And I'm more drop in more like a skateboard ramp, drop in down the face of the wave,
Right,
and then bottom
you wanna
turn, and then try and get back into the wave that way, and then move along it that way.
Okay.
Is that helpful or unhelpful?
Yeah, no. That's helpful because I've not surfed with either of you, so
You haven't had the pleasure.
do you know what? I haven't had the pleasure, and it's strange. I haven't had an invite either, which is a little bit hurtful.
Well, we would invite if we ever get to bloody go.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think wherever we end up with your board designs, I would love to come out and surf with you.
Yeah, well, we would
while
love
you're
it. It'd
surfing.
be an absolute honour.
So you
definitely.
see how stupid we are on this. You just like up the level because of the excitement of being surfing as well. It's just like surfing with infants.
Another point actually. So our which probably help with like the planing and stuff. I don't think our pop-ups are as efficient as what they could be.
No, definitely. Yeah, that's something we always need to work on.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
something we do really need to work on quite a lot. So having something that catches a wave easy,
Yeah.
so we can we're paddling and then we start our pop-up process sooner
Right.
to be able to get up and like the sweet spot of the wave at the right time.
Sure.
That would be handy.
Yeah. So from what you're telling me, I mean, I feel like I could make either style of board work for you,
Yeah.
for both of you. But I mean, do either of you? I mean, you have strong feelings kind of towards the Californian style.
Yeah.
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 What about you, Pete?
I've seen things that I like. I like there's one which I think is a skin dog board or something, which is a cherry picker. I've seen those ones. They look quite nice.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. Like I said earlier, there's another one I've seen, but it looks like when it's in the water, it does stick out quite a bit. But
Sure.
And I like.
Is that because they're paddling from quite far back though, and the things,
Oh, I don't know.
or when they're stood up? Sorry, it's out of the water like that.
Yeah, I know. I know what I like, but I've
Yeah.
got to see the shape, and I like quite a big sort of rounded nose on the board. Nothing too pointy or anything like that. I like it, quite flowy and quite. Like,
It does sound similar to the California one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Probably.
I've got some photos here of. Yeah. So this is that kind of California nose rider style where it's wide.
That's it.
Wait, that's it.
That's it.
So wide at the nose, pulled at the tail. This model works really, really nicely with a rounded pintail.
Yep.
And it's quite. I don't know. I always try and find balance in my shapes. So
Say the other one. Sorry, there's one more that I liked. Our friend Ollie had one nicked out the back of his van, which was a McTavish Fireball.
I know the Fireball really well.
Yeah.
So the outline of the Fireball and that board are not massively dissimilar.
I thought it looked. That's what gave me the thought trigger of it. A very similar sort of shape to that.
Okay, that's interesting. The Fireballs. Oh, it depends. They had a few different models of those, but they had some interesting channel bottom stuff happening on those.
Yeah, it was like about 9.2, wasn't it, or something like that?
No, I think it might have been bigger than that.
Yeah.
It was huge.
It might have been a 9.6 then, or
Yeah.
9.8 or something. I don't know. It's a lovely shape, and it was really nice to ride as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So that sort of thing. If that's a similar sort of thing to that,
Well, that's the photo that you sent me earlier on in the week, wasn't it? And that was a 9.6.
So that's a 9.6. Yeah. So that template would work really well anywhere from sort of 9 foot up to 10 foot really.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a 9.6. I'd say so. The 9.6 is a really, really nice versatile length for them.
Mm-hmm.
If you go a little bit shorter, sort of 9.2, 9.1, it will be much easier to turn. Easier to turn is wrong. It will have a tighter turning radius, if that makes sense.
Right.
So you will have greater control, I guess. The upside to going a little bit longer is it will be a little more stable nose riding. So yeah, and kind of I guess better in smaller stuff and typical waist high summer waves.
Would it be more stable in a turn as well, even though the radius is larger? Would it be?
It kind of depends where you're turning from.
Right.
I wouldn't say it'd be massively different in that in that sense. If you are turning off the tail there, that the part of the board that's engaged, it's going to be very, very similar regardless of the length.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's more sort of down the line surfing.
Yeah.
Because that's when you have that extra 6 inches engaged in the face of the wave. So
so that's when you would nose ride.
That's right, and that's when you'll really, really feel it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like as an outline, that's a really good place to start.
Yeah, I mean, that looks great to me. That's exactly what I got in my head. That's very similar to the pictures I sent you.
Yeah.
And like the 9.6. I think before when we chatted, we said like 9.2, but you mentioned like the extra volume and you'll be able to maybe catch it a bit sooner. And
sure.
So yeah, that would be what I would go for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, cool.
What do you think, mate? For yours?
Yeah, I mean, I'm riding a 9.6 at the moment, and I the size is like lovely. I do like that size of a 9.6. So if it's going to be the same, but lighter, more, it's definitely going to be more manoeuvrable than the brick that I'm riding at the moment. And I think that's I think it's quite sad that we're getting the same board, isn't it?
Well, I kind of thought it would be because we're similar level, we're similar size, so like it is bound to be, isn't it? The same.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there's probably a few very small tweaks that I'd suggest, based off what you've told me. I'd suggest, well, for both of you, because you're talking about wanting to enter slightly earlier. So I would, and I mean, this is completely, you don't even need to know this really, but I would suggest pulling the nose in about, an 1/8 of an inch, maybe a fraction more, maybe 3/16, something like that. And just to give you that slightly earlier entry point, it means you'll be up and planing just that little bit earlier, which sounds like it'll probably help you along your way. Based off what you said about your surfing styles as well, I'd suggest for you, Leighton, that the standard kind of rocker template that I run on those would be really, really good. I'd suggest, Pete, that maybe I'll give you a little bit more tail rocker, just a little, based on you saying that you like kind of taking off, coming down the face, and then bottom turning. That will help with that style of surfing. And it won't have a sort of negative effect on your nose riding or anything like that. But yeah, I think cool. That's kind of where we're at with.
Yeah. And then with fin boxes, I think we were going to...
Yeah.
Well, what did you want?
I'd go single fin.
Single fin?
Yeah. Yeah, single
on both?
Yeah.
Easy done.
Yeah.
But were you talking about having one glassed in? Or
no, what I was on about is if you put a fin box in it and then making a fin.
Yeah.
But it's a question of like, could you make a wooden fin and then like fiberglass around it or whatever around it? So it's... Or would a wooden fin just work on its own, being a wooden fin?
So wood wants to be sealed from the water. Otherwise, it'll obviously take the water in.
So that's what I mean. I know, like when we were chatting before, you glassed wooden boards,
right?
So if you had the fin at a certain size, bearing in mind you'd have to add for whatever it is, the glass builds that up even more to fit the box.
Sure,
would that work?
I'd say it's possible. Yeah, I'd want to do some more research. I've never done that.
Yeah.
So to be clear, that would be something new for me. I'd want to do some research because I'm sure plenty of people have done it before. It might even be. I want to research it.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the structural side of it because you've got kind of below the fin there's that kind of block.
Yeah.
That has a pin in it and a hole to bolt through.
Yeah.
If that hole were drilled through timber, that might be a problem.
Yeah.
Might be weak and but certainly we can.
No,
look at
that's
that.
right. Something to look into. But I've seen plenty of other fins out there that I like the look of anyway.
Sure.
Which I'll probably at the time pick your brain more about what sort of fin to buy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I'll be doing that as well.
Yeah.
So
could you go like what sort of fin would you recommend for a board like that? That would probably be an easy way to do it, wouldn't it? And like, I've seen this. What do you think? And like, Dom have to go no 50 times. But I think I'd probably go with something like this.
Yeah, sure. So for longboard fins, and this is not a paid endorsement, this is just my opinion. There's loads of great companies out there that make really, really cool longboard fins. They're all different shapes and sizes, but for just kind of really good quality, high performing, utilitarian longboard fins, I really, really like FCS. The one of the main reasons I like them, apart from the fact that they're really, really good fins, they make great fins. They have a locking system built in to the base of the fin there that's keyless. Right. So what that means is it's really, really easy to pop the fin out after a surf, so you don't have to have it in while you're traveling. It's not sort of a pain like the bolts are. Yep. But more importantly, it means that when you're out the back, if you want to adjust the position of your fin a little bit, you can do that.
You can do that out in the water?
Yeah, you just kind of jump off it and you just kind of knock it up, and if you move it the right way, it will just pop straight out. No tools, nothing.
Do they ever pop off when people have been surfing?
I've never had that happen, and I haven't heard of it happening. It's difficult to articulate this without visual aids.
In a certain direction to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it would be near on impossible for that to happen, I think. Yeah. In any situation where you're not trashing your board on rocks or something like that.
No, that's understandable. Yeah. And then what about like if we get like going on to like what sort of colours and?
Is that it for the shape? Is there anything else you need to know for the shape? Or
no, I think what I've got here is actually really good.
Okay.
And yeah, I think your boards will be very, very similar. I will, like I said, tweak a few bits, and I'll probably give you just a fraction more volume, Pete, just a little bit.
What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying I think you need a little bit more volume.
Charming, isn't it? Yeah.
You'll thank me, I promise.
I don't eat broccoli for the next month. That's it. Come back like that. I think you're wrong, sir. I think you're wrong. And then right. So I'm going to be a real pain in the ass when it comes to colour. Okay. I've had an idea that I don't write. So gloss black board, but with like a high gloss, like pillar box red, more or less. That looks like it's sort of dripped down off the nose, if you know what I mean. Imagine you poured a paint tin over the nose and it's just run down the front of it.
Okay, I'm with you. That
sort of thing. Or where it's like blends in, sort of anything like that sort of thing. So but then when you flip it over, the bottom to be matte black.
Okay, so let's make some notes here. So the bottom...
Yeah.
It's matte black. The top, so it's black with like. So do you mean like
gloss black from the tail,
right?
And then as you come up to so it's really hard. Imagine you stood your surfboard up in the corner, and you threw a tin of red paint on the top of it, and it slowly like ran down it, like that sort of thing,
and kind of,
or it blends together as it comes into the middle.
So like a resin swirl type.
Like
thing.
swirl. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that exactly how you're going to do it? You'll chuck it in the corner and throw paint at it.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm just...
I don't give a shit as long as it looks nice. It's not about how you get there, is it? It's what it looks like at the end.
It's the end result, yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that sort of thing. Or the other thing I like is like where the red and black meet together and they sort of swirl around in the middle,
Sure.
So either way you think that, my idea might be a bit... strange, and do you know that sort of thing is what I like. I like the red and black.
Yeah,
but I like it if you flip it over and it's just matte black on the bottom.
Okay, so we can definitely do something there. There's options with colour. So, well, the traditional way to get colour in a board would be to tint the resin.
Yeah.
I really, really like the way that looks. And that's how you get sort of your swirls.
Yeah.
Basically, you mix up different coloured resins and catalyse them, and the bit where it would swirl, you kind of pour them into the same cup and pour them out, and where the colour that hits the foam first wins, basically. And it's awesome. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And terrifying that it's going to go wrong, but it's really fun. But yeah, so that would be the way that you get the swirls. If you want something more structured than that, spraying on the foam would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
They do look really different though. The colour from resin tints is really, really nice. It's really kind of rich.
I think it's the resin tint that I'd say go for that side of it.
Okay.
And when I said the bottom matte black, matte black's great, but if it would be easier to do it just gloss black on the bottom, then do that.
No, that's fine. That's matt's absolutely fine. So the only thing I need to think about is constructing that, because you would. So there's every glass job has it's what's called a lap.
Yeah.
So when you glass the bottom, it laps around to the deck.
Yeah. So
and vice versa.
if you imagine the bottom and have an outline of that top deck all round it, and then the centre bit of that
is matte black.
matte black.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just going to be ending on a rail, aren't you? And it will just look weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's like you've got two parts of different boards and just stuck them together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, cool. We're on the same page. That's fine. Nice, mate. That is going to be stunning.
And he wants a pink board.
Pink board? Done. Pink board with flowers.
Yeah, the Johnny Utah one out of Point Break. The first board. Is it a pink thing he has?
I can't remember now. See, this is the bit where I'm going to have to get back to you, I think, because I'm really undecided. Partly your fault. Sending me that lovely orange looking thing, like that board would be fine. That is just a beautiful board. My original idea was for my partner to draw on it. We now think she's not going to have the time with what she's doing with her work and stuff.
What if they split up? He's got to look at it for the rest of his life.
That's not the motivation behind it. But I do really like whiteboards as well.
Yeah.
Like I like blackboards, and we've said it on other podcasts as well, like the one that Bodie gives Johnny Utah, that lovely black thing, and like that Stealth Mission one. But on like longboards, I really do like white. It's really boring, like white matte boards, like a really purist, traditional looking thing.
Nice.
Maybe with some kind of pinstripe thing in it or something. Okay. But I will get back to you on it, because I am undecided. And like, how soon do you need to know that information?
There's no massive urgency there.
No.
I'll hassle you when I need to.
That's fine.
I do have. I've got a little order book going at the minute. So
yeah, that's no problem.
We've got a good few weeks under the belt.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So I will get back to you. I've got a few ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, and the thing's going to go on the wall in my bedroom.
Nice.
He's not going to surf it. It's just going to go on the wall in his bedroom.
For two reasons. One, I don't have anywhere else to keep it, and two, it's just going to look beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
You are going to surf it though.
Yeah, of course I am.
I just like the way he's just said, "Oh, it's just going to go on the wall in my bedroom." I was just like,
no, it's going to. So that was the other thing with that, actually, because I've had to measure the wall, obviously. So the 9'6" would fit on there, but like, how much rocker is in that? Just because the door opens that way.
your surfboard's going to be built around your house, not around your surfing.
I just wanted to know, so I just want to make sure that when I walk in, I ding the thing on the door or something.
Oh, mate.
So you can put a stop on the floor?
Yeah, well, I am going to do that, and that's why I need to know where that stop goes.
Well, why don't you just wait till you get it and put it
on
the wall?
I'm just out of curiosity, that was all.
People out there don't want to know that. Nobody cares about your house.
This is about my board.
I would need to do some maths
Okay.
because it's not just the rocker; it's also the foil.
Yeah.
So I need to. Yeah, I'll have to come back to you on
Need
that.
be, I'll just take the door off. So
Yeah,
don't
I
worry.
mean, that would be a really good solution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you need from us before?
No, I don't. I think I've got everything I need. The only thing actually I wanted to mention quickly to you, Leighton, if you like whiteboards,
Yep.
there's some really classy tints that you can do,
Okay.
which are
Or like an off-white and stuff like that.
yeah, or the thing is with tints, it's not just the you can affect the opacity as well. Mm-hmm. So you could have
You start going like pearlescent and stuff like that.
get some glitter in there. No, so you can have just a touch of white with like the faintest little hint of green or yellow or something like that. That isn't enough to say that board's not white,
Right.
but it's enough to see where the different layers of fiberglass overlap and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's this really kind of classy finish that it's not kind of a clear resin job on white foam. You can see a little bit of the structure.
Yeah. That sounds good.
That's
Yeah.
not him though. Classy. It's just
You can let some comments go. As
I
well.
really can't. I've done really well not to say more. There's like when he was saying earlier about extra length matters. I let that one go.
What, do you want me to say thanks?
Yes. There's about 5 or 6.
That sounds what I think I might be looking for actually.
Yeah.
So what's the best thing to punch in on like, what's the best way to Google that? Like what would I have you got any examples I can look at?
I can send you some pictures across of what I'm kind of visualizing. But if you just punch in, longboard resin tint, you will come up with all manner of options.
Perfect.
And yeah, just have a look, see what takes your fancy. There's really nothing that's unachievable.
Okay.
I might regret saying that.
That's not the actual like a slight resin tint. That's not too difficult to do.
No, that's absolutely fine.
Right.
It's just a matter of, because what I want to do is to deliver what's in your mind's eye.
Yeah.
So I just need to know what that is, really.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I'll send you a picture then.
Yeah, send me a picture. We can do it. Yeah.
I
Nice
might
one.
change my mind before we get to the actual colouring of the board.
And that's your prerogative, mate. No problem.
Yeah. Well, you have always gone for like red and black, haven't you? So you sprayed your board, didn't you? With,
Yeah, it's red and black.
Yeah.
It's black with a red stringer down the middle of it.
Nice.
Works well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good. I'm
yeah.
super excited about that now.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
I think, for part 2 of this series, that's...
Yeah. So part
about
3 is going to be
I think part
collection.
3 is going to be collecting the boards. Well, we'll see if we go through. If there's anything else we need to add to it, we'll add it in.
Sure.
But part 3 is going to be
talk about the process and how you did it, maybe.
yeah.
Sure.
And
then we'll be like collecting the boards.
Yeah.
Might change hands with some money
Excellent.
and
ride them.
ride them,
Awesome.
and then tell everybody if they're good or they're shit, and we're going to delete the episodes if you want.
Well, that's absolutely fine.
By the sounds of it, I think they're probably going to be quite good.
Well, I hope they will be.
I'm sure they will. Looking at everything else and the photos you've sent me and all that, it's just... You might have to stop sending me the photos because on some of the other boards you created, I'm like, oh my God, this is just an absolute work of art. They're just so beautiful.
Thanks, mate.
So yeah, thanks for letting us have a board shaped by you because I know you're really super busy.
No, it's absolutely my pleasure, and I can't wait to see you guys riding them. I love that.
See our faces when we pick them up.
Yeah.
That's where that giggle's going to come back.
There's no pressure on you.
Yeah.
All those people out there listening to you now, and
I have nothing to say to that.
We're obviously
fine.
take lots of photos of them.
Yeah.
Sticking on.
Yeah,
If you've got time when you're constructing them,
Mhm.
taking photos of the process.
Yeah,
would
absolutely.
Would be great to put on.
I'm going to try and figure out a way as well to do some sort of stop animation. You know what I mean?
Time lapse.
Time lapse. Yeah. In my workshop there, if I can set something up that I can
phone
let it run.
The phone's got time lapse on it that works really well. And GoPro do a time lapse if you've got a GoPro.
I don't, but I need one.
Yeah, I nearly bought one yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, but
do the people at GoPro not listen to this?
No, I don't think so. GoPro, give us a camera. Come on, all three.
Yeah, three would be good.
It's just we need one. Yeah, I nearly bought one yesterday because I saw it was in some Black Friday sale or something like that, and they were like down to the GoPro 8 for like $299 or something like that. But then I thought, oh no, I need a new surfboard instead.
Wow,
yeah,
it's a wise choice.
Yeah, it was. Anyway, so I think that's about it for this part
2. Yeah,
part 3 will be weeks down the line, and we'll let you know when that is nearer the time. If you want to check out Dom, he's on social media. At Origin Surf Co.
Yep.
And his website is
originsurfco.com.
There you go. So if you want to check out any of his boards or get in contact with him and have him make you a board, as you can probably tell by these last couple of podcasts, he does know what he's talking about. He knows a lot more than us about surfboards. We can barely stand up in the real world, let alone on a surfboard. So,
It's all right, because the surfboard that Dom makes is just going to make us world class.
Yeah, that's what he promised. That's the promise you get with Origin Surf Co.
That is not the promise you get with Origin Surf Co.
So, I think that's about it. So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.